The air was never this heavy before. It's thick, still, almost alive. It moves around you, pressing into your skin like the weight of something ancient. The lights don't flicker. They freeze. The room doesn't shake, but something inside you does. Deep. Unexplainable. Like a storm gathering behind your ribs. Then it comes, like thunder cutting through bone, Archangel Michael's voice. He is not whispering this time. He is screaming. His roar splits the silence of the spiritual realm. Final alert, he thunders. You are about to lose God's hand. 10 seconds left before heaven erases your name. The sound doesn't echo like human words. It wraps around your soul. It doesn't just reach your ears, it carves itself into your spirit. You feel it like a lightning strike, burning into every hidden corner of your heart. You want to move, to speak, to breathe normally, but even air feels like it's bowing to the angel's voice. This is not a random moment. This is a divine interruption. Somewhere far beyond what eyes can see, a countdown has begun. Heaven's clock is ticking, not like a machine, but like a heartbeat. 10, 9, 8. It's slow. Deep. Each second feels like it stretches across eternity. You've heard warnings before. You've felt little nudges. Whispers in the night. Sudden feelings that something was shifting. But this isn't a whisper. This is the final cry. This is the last hand knocking on the last door. Michael stands in the invisible courtroom of heaven. His armor burns like gold and fire. His wings are stretched wide, carrying the weight of God's authority. His sword, forged before the foundation of the world, drips with light. And as he looks at you, time bends. You are no longer standing in your room. You are standing at the edge of a throne. Heaven is not silent tonight. Heaven is roaring. And the angel's voice shakes through every layer of your soul. This is not a game, Michael warns. This is the last moment before heaven moves. If you do not open your spirit now, the page with your name will be sealed without you. A chill runs through your spine. Not fear, something deeper. The awareness of standing on holy ground. For years, God's hand covered your life. You didn't see it, but it was there. Shielding you. Blocking what should have broken you. And now that hand is trembling, not because God is weak, but because heaven does not hold what refuses to respond. The angel's voice turns sharper. You have walked in delay long enough. You have played with time long enough. Heaven will not wait forever. The sound of the countdown grows louder. It's not outside. It's inside your chest. 10, 9, 8, each beat is heavier. It's like heaven is pressing its hand on your heart saying, now or never. You look around, but nothing around you has changed. No storm outside. No lights flashing. But inside your soul, something is breaking open. A veil is lifting. You are standing at the thin line between mercy and justice, between grace and erasure. Michael's wings spread further, and the temperature of the room shifts. Not hot. Not cold. Holy. Like something larger than time has stepped in. Do you understand? He says, voice like rolling thunder. This is not fear speaking. This is heaven's last warning. If the door closes, it will not open the same way again. You don't need a vision to know this is real. Your spirit already knows. The same way you knew before that something greater was guiding you. The same way you felt protected in storms you didn't understand. That hand, that covering, is what heaven is talking about now. The angel steps closer, though his feet don't touch the ground. God's hand over your name has shielded you from things you will never know, he says. Storms you never saw. Battles you never fought. But now the shield trembles. And suddenly, silence. Not the silence of peace. The silence before judgment. A silence that hums with power. Michael lowers his head for a moment, as if listening to something you can't hear. Then he raises his sword. The blade burns brighter, like a second sun. This is not about punishment, he declares. This is about destiny. You are standing at the edge of your page. Heaven is watching. Hell is waiting. Your name is still written, but the ink is fading. You feel it. Something tugging at the edges of your soul. Like an invisible wind trying to pull away the last thread that connects you to something divine. You know it's real. You've ignored signs before, hoping they'd fade. But this one isn't fading. It's burning brighter. Michael's voice shakes again. Open it now. Open your spirit. The door is not in the sky. The door is inside you. Every second you wait, the ink fades. You see nothing, but your skin feels the weight of eternity pressing down. 10 seconds in heaven is not the same as 10 seconds on earth. Each one carries the weight of choices, names, futures. Heaven is not counting like humans count. Heaven is measuring surrender. The angel lifts his eyes, blazing like fire. The mercy you walked in for years is turning into silence. And when heaven goes silent, destinies freeze. The countdown continues. 10, 9, 8, 7. You remember moments you should have fallen but didn't. Times you were lost but something pulled you back. You realize, that was God's hand. The covering that's now slipping. This is your final alert, Michael cries, a voice breaking through the fabric of time. This is your last invitation before the door seals. Heaven is not waiting on emotion. Heaven is waiting on obedience. You have 10 seconds before the page turns. The ground beneath your feet hums. The air above your head bends. It feels like the atmosphere itself is listening to your heartbeat. And in that wait, you understand, this is not a warning to fear, this is a call to wake up. Michael steps closer. Do not let heaven write you out of the chapter it created for you. You are not replaceable in God's love, but your assignment is not eternal. If you don't stand now, the hand that wrote your name can rewrite the plan. The countdown burns like a brand on your soul. 10, 9, 8. You close your eyes and see flashes. Moments you ignored. Nights you felt a pull to change. Days you walked away from the light, thinking there would always be another chance. But this time, there won't be another chance. Michael's wings close slightly. His sword is raised. And then, the sky of the spirit realm cracks open. A sound pours through, not thunder. Louder. Deeper. Like the voice of eternity itself. 10 seconds, he whispers again, but this time it isn't a shout. It's a whisper that shakes the ground. This is your line in the sand. Step forward, or be erased from the page of what could have been. The light flickers inside your spirit. The pull is undeniable now. Heaven isn't just calling, it's deciding. The air is no longer still. It trembles. The invisible world is shaking, though the room you stand in remains silent. Something is happening in the unseen, an ancient door is creaking, an eternal clock is pounding, and heaven is holding its breath. Michael doesn't lower his sword. He lifts it higher. The blade burns hotter, brighter, almost unbearable to look at. The clock has not stopped, he says. 7 seconds. The words fall like stones into a bottomless well. 7 seconds in heaven isn't measured by minutes, it's measured by decision. You can feel your heartbeat sync with the countdown. The rhythm of heaven has taken over your pulse. Michael's eyes burn with the same fire that forged the sword he carries. This is the moment when names are weighed, he declares. Not in fear, but in truth. And truth does not lie. His voice isn't loud anymore. It's heavy. Like it carries the weight of everything you were created to become. You try to breathe, but the air feels thick with eternity. Behind Michael, the sky of the spirit realm shifts. The veil between earth and heaven has grown paper thin. You can almost see shapes, beings, thrones, scrolls, watching. Not judging with anger. Watching with the sorrow of heaven waiting for a choice. 7 seconds, Michael repeats. Heaven is not waiting for time to pass. Heaven is waiting for your spirit to rise. Your knees feel weak. The floor beneath you vibrates softly, not from an earthquake, but from a spiritual tremor. The courtroom of heaven is awake. Archangel Michael steps forward, his shadow stretching across eternity. God's hand, he says slowly, was placed on you for a purpose. But heaven cannot hold the hand of someone who turns away from the light they were given. And suddenly, everything around you starts to speak. Not with words, but with memories. The walls, the ground, the air, they echo the moments where heaven whispered to you. Times you stood at other doors but walked away. Opportunities you dismissed. Promises you forgot. Every choice is suddenly alive in this room. Every yes. Every no. This is the moment, Michael whispers. The book is open. He raises his sword and points, not at you, but at something above your head. And then you hear it, the sound of a page turning. It's soft, like a single feather falling. But it shakes your soul like 1,000 drums. The book of destiny has opened to your page. The ink on the page flickers. Some lines are bright like sunlight. Others are faded like dying stars. And in the middle of it, your name burns faintly. Heaven is not playing. Heaven is deciding. Michael lifts his hand. Your name is not just a sound, he says. It is a design. It is a weapon. It is a promise. When heaven wrote it, it also wrote your destiny. But every destiny has an expiration point if it is not answered. The air gets colder, not because something evil entered, but because heaven is moving away. Slowly. Patiently. Like a door closing inch by inch. 6 seconds, Michael says. His voice shakes the ground like a verdict. A flash of light fills the room, not blinding, but piercing. The light travels through every corner of your heart. It pulls out secrets, fears, things you buried deep. And then it stops at one wound. One crack. One betrayal. Michael's voice lowers. This, he says softly, is where the enemy built his throne. You see it now. Not with your eyes, but with your spirit. A small place where pain lived. A doorway you left unguarded. It wasn't the world that placed this curse. It wasn't a stranger. It was someone you trusted. Heaven isn't showing you this to break you. It's showing you this to set you free. The hand of God has been over your life, Michael declares. But your silence built altars in the shadows. You trusted the wrong voice. And every unbroken altar is a legal door the enemy uses. Your breath catches. You feel the truth, raw, cutting, real. And as the angel's words fall, you realize this isn't about judgment. It's about exposure. Heaven doesn't heal what it won't expose. The room fills with a sound like wind rushing through a canyon. Michael spreads his wings again, and flames wrap around him like living fire. "This is the last warning," he says. "The page is almost turning away from you." 5 seconds. The countdown hasn't stopped. Every second you stand in silence, the ink fades a little more. And then Michael lifts his sword and strikes the ground. Not to destroy, but to reveal. The floor splits, not physically, but spiritually. Beneath the surface, you see chains. Invisible all your life, but real in heaven's eyes. Chains built by betrayal, by compromise, by delay. They wrap around your name like serpents. And heaven is done waiting. "This is what is holding the hand of God away," Michael shouts. "These chains must break, or heaven will let go." The air explodes with sound. It's not thunder. It's judgment moving closer. The page of your destiny is shaking. Angels in the distance begin to chant, not in anger, but in solemnity. Decision. 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 4 seconds. Michael looks straight through you, not with human eyes, but with eyes that have seen the throne of God. "If you could hear what I hear, if you could see what I see, you would not delay another heartbeat." Heaven is not threatening you. Heaven is warning you. There is a difference. One is to scare you. The other is to save you. You can feel the weight of eternity pressing in. There's no turning away anymore. There's no pretending this isn't real. The veil is gone. Heaven's light is too bright to ignore. Michael lowers his sword and whispers, "This is your last unshaken moment. This is where destinies shift or fall. The hand of God has held back storms, curses, even death for your sake. But heaven will not carry what you won't claim." 3 seconds. Your spirit starts to tremble. You remember every quiet moment you were given. Every night heaven whispered your name. You remember the signs. The dreams. The near misses. All of them were God's hand holding you back from an erasure you never saw coming. "This is mercy's final roar," Michael says. His wings create a wind that bends reality. This is the final alert. After this, heaven moves whether you do or not. 2 seconds. The courtroom of heaven grows louder. Angels lift their heads. Scrolls are ready to be sealed. Ink hovers like mist, waiting for the final command. Your name flickers, bright, then dim. The door of destiny creaks again, the light on the other side slowly fading. 1 second. Michael raises his sword high, and his scream tears through both realms. Open it now. Open your spirit. Heaven is giving you your final breath before the page closes. If your heart stays silent, the hand of God will lift, and the chapter will end with a line unfinished. The sound of the countdown vanishes. Not because it stopped, but because it reached zero. And now heaven waits. The world has gone silent. The angels have stopped moving. Michael stands frozen like a statue of fire, his eyes locked on yours. In this silence, eternity holds its breath. The sound is gone. No ticking. No whispers. Just silence. But it's not the kind of silence that comforts. It's the kind that splits time in two. The kind that separates what was from what will be. Heaven is not waiting anymore. Heaven is watching. And the whole spiritual realm has leaned in. Archangel Michael hasn't moved a single inch. His wings are open like two burning suns. His sword hovers in the air, pulsing with light that bends reality itself. And then, he lowers his head. Slowly. As if listening to a voice that no one else can hear. It's not loud. It's not thunder. It's something deeper, like the voice of the throne itself. Then he raises his head. The fire in his eyes is no longer warning. It's final. Heaven has spoken, he says, every word echoing like a verdict. The countdown has reached the line. What happens next depends on your spirit's answer. You can feel it. The pressure in the air is unbearable now. The covering that once wrapped around you is lifting, inch by inch. The shield that was silent but always there is slowly being pulled away. And still, Michael is giving you a moment. The last moment. The ink is trembling, Michael declares. Your name is not erased yet, but heaven will not hold it forever. This is the line between mercy and erasure. The book of destiny is still open. Your name flickers like a fading star. The angel stretches his hand toward the page. Do you feel this? He asks. This is the silence of heaven before a decree. It is heavier than thunder. More final than time. And if you do not open your spirit now, your story will not continue the way it was written. The air bursts with a soundless roar. Angels around the throne lower their heads. Some weep, not because of sadness, but because they know what this silence means. It's the moment when heaven either fights for you, or walks away. Michael slams his sword into the invisible ground. Fire explodes around him. The page has been written in mercy, he shouts. But mercy is not eternal when disobedience refuses to bow. Heaven does not chase forever. Heaven calls. And heaven closes. Then something happens. The light that was fading over your name suddenly trembles. A sound comes, not from outside, but inside. It's faint. weak. But it's your spirit. Even in silence, it whispers. It refuses to let the page close. Michael hears it. Heaven hears it. Did you hear that? Michael whispers. His voice is not thunder anymore. It's soft. Fierce. Your spirit has spoken. Even a whisper can move the throne if it's real. A shift tears through the atmosphere. The throne that felt distant suddenly turns its gaze back toward your name. Mercy is not gone, it's waiting for one step. Just one surrender. One opening. The chains below your name rattle. They've been hiding in the shadows for years, feeding on fear, betrayal, and delay. But as the whisper of your spirit grows louder, the chains begin to burn. Heaven responds not to perfect people, but to open hearts. Michael raises his sword again. This time not to warn, but to war. Flames rise from the ground, not to consume you, but to consume everything that ever tried to own you. This is the sound of a spirit waking up, he declares. This is the moment when heaven fights back. The courtroom of heaven is no longer quiet. It erupts. Trumpets blast in the unseen. The book of destiny stops flickering. The ink that was fading begins to burn gold again. Your name steadies. The page stops shaking. Michael's voice fills the entire realm. This is why heaven counted down. Not to destroy you, but to wake you up. 10 seconds was mercy disguised as thunder. And then his sword comes down. It doesn't hit you. It hits the chains. One strike. They shatter like glass. The betrayal, the curse, the voices that held legal ground over your life, they scream and break. Fire spreads across the shadows like daylight flooding a cave. What was hidden can no longer live. This is the hour of reversal, Michael shouts. The hand of God that was lifting is now returning. The covering that was fading is sealing you again. The atmosphere changes instantly. Where there was cold, warmth flows like a river. Where there was silence, sound fills the void. It's not chaotic. It's holy. Angels begin to move again. Trumpets, bells, light, everything in heaven celebrates a name that refused to be erased. The book of destiny blazes with gold. Your name, once dim, shines like the sun. A new line is written beneath it, not by you, but by heaven itself. Michael steps closer, the fire around him softening. You have no idea how close you were to being wiped from this chapter, he whispers. But heaven is not in the business of losing what it loves. When your spirit whispered, heaven roared. A wind sweeps through the unseen. The same throne that turned away begins to rise. And in a single breath, God's hand falls back over your name like a seal being stamped into time. Michael lifts his sword one last time, but now it is shining brighter than before. This, he says, is your final warning turned into your first victory. But never forget what you just survived. Heaven's patience is not weakness. It is love. And love has limits when truth is ignored. The ground closes where chains once lived. The altar built in shadows collapses into dust. And from that dust, light begins to bloom like a star being born. This is your reset, Michael declares. This is your re-entry into the chapter heaven wrote. But walk with the awareness of what almost happened. You have seen the edge. Now walk with the fire that pulled you back. The angel stretches his wings and looks up. Heaven's doors that were closing are now wide open. Trumpets sound in the distance. The countdown clock is gone, not because it was paused, but because the decision has been made. Your name, Michael says, pointing to the golden fire written in the book, will no longer flicker. It will burn. The angel's voice grows fierce again, not in warning, but in command. Never walk like someone with time to waste. Walk like someone who survived heaven's silence. Walk like someone who knows how close the door was. The world will not understand this moment. But heaven will remember it forever. Light floods the room. Not physical light, heavenly light. The kind that wraps around your soul, not your skin. And somewhere deep inside you, a shift happens. It's subtle. But it's permanent. The covering is back. The hand of God is over your name. Michael turns slowly. His wings shake off the last traces of the battle. His sword cools like metal after fire. But before he leaves, he looks at you one last time. Do not wait for another countdown, he says. Heaven's mercy answered this one. But mercy was never meant to be a habit. It's meant to be an awakening. Then he steps into the light. The air shakes. The realm closes. But the echo of his voice lingers like a flame that refuses to die. And in that moment, your name stands in heaven, not erased, not trembling, but blazing. This is not a random night. This is the night the door almost closed but swung open again. The night heaven screamed, you answered, and destiny was rewritten in fire. The world outside still looks the same. But in the unseen, everything is different. This is the end of the countdown. This is the beginning of the fire. This is your name, sealed, protected, burning. So don't walk away from this moment. Heaven didn't scream for nothing. Michael didn't descend for noise. This was written so your spirit could wake up. And when heaven moves like this, it never moves for nothing. This is your sign. This is your chapter. And this time, you won't be erased. subscribe, like, and share.